So here we are, back at base. Sorry for not publishing this on Friday night, but as the blokes at Deaton and Sheepridge pointed out, you look knackered, mate. Probably down to the fact that I've slept, and I use the word slept in the loosest sense of the word, for the last 3 nights in the back of that thing. The other reason, of course, I was a little bit late doing the video is that, well, I had the van yesterday, didn't I? And in Kent, I thought, you know, there's a lot of people about. I bet there's a lot of people about in Cov and Leamington and Banbury, and there were. The best bit yesterday was Southam, because I didn't realise that Southam United were at home. I saw the kids match, and a load of cars parked there. I thought, oh, I'll just drive in, turn round, you know. But no, Southam United were playing in the next field that was hidden by the hedges. So drove up from their end to the opposition end, parked in the corner, distracted the opposition defence, and bang! Southam score! An assist with a van. Oh. On the subject of the van, I have to thank Nikki Sinclair, MEP, who has lent us the van. Yeah, for both this week and when we do part 2 of the Great White Elephant Hunt. People will say, oh look, yeah, they're really well funded, look at the van. No, sorry guys, we got it for nothing. And we got the banners at cost. Thank you very much, multi-sign makers of Birmingham. Got Ellie up again, because, well, it's raining and we need to clean her off. So hopefully that'll help. Nice lighter way of brushing her down. We'll deflate her up, we'll stick some tables out later and deflate her. We've got a meeting later. So deflating her slightly more gently than the kids in Rose did. Those two were alright, though I was glad that the one who was simulating sexual acts on her while she was being blown up didn't stick around. The other thing is with Ellie, she's got a wound. She's actually been carrying it the whole time, and believe it or not, it's probably puncture her kit's gone underneath it, but there's still a little gap. And the sellotape, I couldn't find the white gaffer tape, but the sellotape was actually held until she's got too wet, so she is slowly deflating, unlike HS2, which is rapidly inflating. Slight difference in our 2 white elephants there. Anyway, a few other things. First, I'm sure there will be some people who will be more than happy to try and, you know, berate me for jumping on the bandwagon of the riots and say, it's nothing to do with your issue. Well, the thing is, Wednesday night, as I was packing up the van, 19-year-old trying to break that door down. Because what started 3 months ago as him and his mates occasionally taking the mick and saying, oh, I love trains as they go past, you know, 3 months later, it's managed to end up to, when they've had too many, coming back here and trying to break in, and it's, you know, kicking the door down, you know, I want to beat you up, come out here, you know, everything is wrong about your life. There's just one of them who's the trouble, really, like, who becomes the trouble at the end of the night, I should say, because he doesn't know when to stop. But the thing is, these kids seem to think that this is right, that there's nothing wrong in their behaviour whatsoever, just randomly abusing, you know, just people they walk past on the street. And that's it. That's Kenilworth, you know. Not exactly the bustling metropolis of the UK. If things like that happening here, yeah, I can see how bad it can be elsewhere. Like, Deaton and Sheepridge was not a bad place. Yeah, good lads at Deaton. One problem, I left the debt banner, a veteran of Stop HS2 protests. It's been there right since Brackley, right since the start. I left it outside the club and it was pouring down. If it didn't get knackered, I bet the lads had taken it in, because Deaton, you know, Deaton and Sheepridge, both sides, looked like a pretty nice place. Not necessarily the sort of place that you'd expect that sort of thing to have happened. Over this week, I've toured round a lot of places and seen, you know, history of urban decay, boarded up pubs, burnt out pubs that have turned into rubble. Pubs were, you know, one of the very things that, very noticeable, I suppose. But say Bradford, near the bus station, there was a whole street that was boarded up. And problem is that those places, used to employ people, stuff like that. One of the reasons for going around this week is, of course, there's a lot of common threads. Actually, it seemed that we possibly got it worse around here than a lot of the places I've been to. For example, I went to police station and fire station were being cut back. Right, next week, Warwick Fire Station shuts, as do 2 others in Warwickshire. We've already lost Kenilworth Police Station, and a few others look dodgy too. Nursery school was under threat. That's all right now. Now it's the youth clubs, libraries all across the board. It's everywhere. And that's the thing. One of the reasons that people where HS2 is going are more angry about it, because we've got all that in the background that the rest of the country has got, and we've got this as well. And we've looked at the plans. And that was a big point of going up to Yorkshire and the East Midlands this week, because of course the public consultation on the Y route that takes HS2 up to Leeds eventually, that's gone. The consultation on the principle has gone. Afterwards, they'll just be able to consult about the route, which means, as it is here, that it might move from there to there. That's what your consultation is. Not about the principle, just about where it actually goes. Because the do we need it question, is it the most burning priority in our country today? That question has already been asked. And of course, that's one of the amazing things about this 33 billion, and when I keep saying it's not going to be 33 billion, they haven't even got a route north of Lichfield. In Manchester, they don't know how many stations they're going to have. So how do you know it's going to cost 33 billion? You're just picking a figure out of the air. Hang on, right, first section, that costs 17.8 billion. Then you're going to build as long again that way, and as long again almost that way, and that's only going to cost about 14, when this bit costs 17. So how's that work then? Bit odd. But that's it, we've got the rest of the cuts here in Warwickshire, in Oxfordshire, in Northamptonshire, in Buckinghamshire, oh yes, London, Birmingham, Solihull, Coventry, wherever. And we've got this as well, this ridiculous amount of money being spent on HS2. And for the fact that we've actually paid attention to the plans, looked into them, we're called NIMBYs and Luddites. And then that's the amazing one, Luddites, because it's the people proposing this who are Luddites. There was finally one bloke who spoke to me in Leeds, who came out to Leeds Council House and said, who was for it, and he said, I completely disagree with you. And he was the Pete Waterman of Yorkshire. Oh, look what it's done for China. He did the look what it's done for China one again. Right, okay, so they're $304 billion in debt. They, the country that's bankrolling the world, can only just afford to pay the interest. They've had a load of fatal accidents. They've had to withdraw trains from service. No one's using them. Yeah, look what it's done for China. France, it's got too expensive. Portugal, they've been told to stop building as a condition of the bailout. Plans in the Netherlands have been shelved. All of these countries that were rushing for it have gone, oh God, that was a terrible mistake. Like in Spain, there was one line that was actually carrying 9 passengers a day. Surprisingly, the Toledo service has been cut as a result. Eventually, there was one bloke who was for it at Leeds Town Hall, and he accused us of being Luddites. And that's the amazing thing. No, we're not Luddites. Oh no, yeah, the internet, oh come off it. There'll always have to be meetings. We'll always have to do that. I said, no. My son is using the internet at 6. And what you lot fail to realise is that, no, it's not that, the internet won't replace... It's not that the internet won't replace face-to-face meetings. It's that my generation, my son's generation is going to replace you. And that's what they fail to understand. That they think, well, why do I need to do all this travel for no good reason when I can sit at home, I can be more effective? This is the way I'm used to doing work. And they don't seem to realise that it will be so second nature for the generation coming through in 10 years' time. The change will be, it'll be seamless, because it will just happen if we have the infrastructure to cope with it. The Leeds Pete Waterman, what else did he say? Oh yeah, he admitted that it was about getting more people more quickly to London and not about the other way around, because Leeds is a provincial city, we need London, which is a very strange view really coming out of Yorkshire, in that Yorkshire ain't good enough. It's not really the Yorkshire way, I don't think that. It's amazed me how few people have known anything about HS2, bearing in mind, say, for example, the Yorkshire Post has had a big campaign for it. Oddly enough, they won't, but basically they seem to refuse to print anything that any of us send them. But when they finally had public letters coming in from Yorkshire about HS2, 4 out of 5 were with us, were questioning the need for it, or just saying no, full stop. So they seem a little bit off the mark there. There was one bloke, finally, out of all the people I talked to, the vast majority knew absolutely nothing. The ones who knew anything very quickly, already had their doubts, and just asked me a few questions like how much it's going to cost, where's it going, that sort of thing. And they just no. And most of them, because it's not going to help the trains I bloody use. They said, it'll free up capacity. Yeah, well, but you need more carriages and stuff like that. Where's the money going to come from? A lot of people obviously very annoyed about privatisation on the subject of rail. Simply the fragmentation, that it's just been a cock-up, and of course, and I got this with the buses quite a bit as well, was that that bus has just gone past there empty and I'm paying for that, and someone's making a profit out of that. So it sounds to me like they're running a bus that's in some cases not getting used, in a lot of cases it is getting used, but basically taxpayers' money is going direct to fund shareholder profits. Why do we need to do this? You've got to realise that just on their costs, what you're talking about is an ongoing payment of about 2 million a year for 15, 20 years, every year. 2 billion coming out of whatever, an ongoing requirement. And it's going to be more than that, because we know that the 33 is wrong. When you're bust, when you've got nothing, you cut back on the luxuries. And you try and save the essentials. And we're doing it completely the other way around. Like, I went through a place called Robin Hood on my tour, and it just got me thinking, because we're run by the Sheriff of Nottingham here, and HS2 is just another example. It's something that's no good for the majority of the people in the country. It's good for a few, and those few are the ones who've got the most money. And there's no business case and no environmental case as well. We know that the cost's going to go up. We can't afford anything else. Just why? Why are we even thinking about this?